Hello, welcome to Competitive Paupercast, episode 13. With me today is David,
Hi guys.
Dan,
Hey Pierre!
and special guest, once again, CJ.
Hello.
CJ was previously on Competitive Paupercast. He talked about elves with us, and today he's going to share some bitterness about the recent Wizard announcement.
I guess I don't know if I would say bitterness as much as sort of like sadistic glee.
Okay, so for anybody who doesn't know, MTG Worth made an announcement, or rather, what is his name? Worth Wolpert made an announcement yesterday, that daily events are canceled until further notice, basically, so that they can work on it. And the reason behind this was, over this past weekend, the mocks crashed, and during the mocks crash, a pro, Brian Kibler, was number one in the event until the crash happened. And when the crash happened, he lost. The MTG lost the event state, so basically the whole mocks was dead, and there was no way to recover it. The following day, the 730 entry PTQ also crashed. So, at some point, the community just got way behind Brian Kibler's madness and the PTQ madness, and Worth Wolpert and Magic Online team has decided that they need to just take down daily events until further notice. They've replaced daily events with some Ks for us, but the Ks are nowhere near the value of daily events. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see the state of Magic Online for the next few weeks until the daily event thing is fixed.
I'm looking at Musuba right now, the Japanese pricing site, and standard prices are crashing. Thoughtseized dropped 1.6 tickets in a couple of hours.
It dropped to 1.6?
No,
1.6. But it's dropping right now, so it could have dropped even further.
As soon as I read the announcement, it felt like a Great Depression, like Black Tuesday or whatever it was. Everyone just yelling, sell, 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 sell.
Yep, I'm buying like crazy.
Right, except like it wasn't really just pure panic. It was like it's the only possible thing that could happen. These cards are now useless. You're not playing for anything.
Yesterday, Thoughtseize was 7.8 tickets, and today, Thoughtseize is 5.72 tickets. So, Dan, financial advice here? I don't know what to do.
Buy at the only question is how far will things crash and how long will this take? If you read the announcement, it seems that the December 14 tournament is still on, so they expect to have things fixed until then. If I didn't misinterpret it.
Do you mean the mocks?
Yeah.
Well,
I'm not sure I meant the mocks. I meant there was some tournament on December the 14th that they mentioned.
It was probably one of the mocks, sort of last chance ones. And
it was the Player of the Year.
Right. I got the impression that the Season 12 mocks is canceled because they have those events where you can use QPs to enter a Phantom Cube draft.
Yeah.
Which would be a bizarre inclusion unless you had no other way to use the QPs, which seems to be the case.
Yeah, I think the 14th one might be a make-up. Because there's the Mox Season 11 Finals makeup on the 16th. Maybe that's what you're thinking about? And then
not,
Pro Tour.
But it doesn't seem like they're fixing this anytime soon. Not like the next week.
The word choice is very interesting. They not only do they not say we'll have it fixed by the end of the year, they don't even say we'll have an update by the end of the year. They say we hope to have an update by the end of the year, which is the least comforting thing they could ever basically say. Yeah, we might tell you something eventually.
Where is that? Because I saw that mentioned on Twitter, and I was like, "What? Wait, I didn't see that verbiage."
It's in the. If you read the details of the article, which is pretty pointless because it doesn't really assuage any fears. It's basically we are tanking everything. And at the
this happened when
at the bottom of
my issue with this is exactly what we're having the problem with, in that there's 3 articles describing this. Like, you have to like go to different parts and click on different things in order to find the information you want. Like, where is it? You know,
I think that's just
frustrating.
sort of. I think that's sort of an extension of an extension of a larger problem.
Oh, I know. I mean, I guess it just epitomizes exactly this. You know, it's like they can't even write articles right. So
Right.
I can understand why they need to take this down to fix it, but it's like if they can't write articles, are they ever going to be able to fix this? It's just like, what is going on?
I think Moto had been pretty bad for a while, but earlier this year, Mike Turian took over, and it had got like instantly worse significantly. That was when like they started making everything Phantom events,
Oh,
and they took away like 4 booster seals, like went away, and then they brought them back, but way worse. And all like there are just no fun events anymore. Even like a couple years ago, you would have retro drafts every once in a while for reasons other than like the cube being there.
Yeah. I missed
Yeah,
it.
the last retro draft was New Year, 2012, 2013.
They're right. They had
But
like
this in 2013, nothing. No retro drafts with any value.
yeah. Say they just did Ravnica pretty recently.
Oh, but no value. None of the
Ravnica-
sets with expensive cards. Ravnica is for free.
I was very upset that they let the people choose on that one, which is a weird thing to say, but it's the entire point of retro draft is to increase the card pool for like they want modern to be a thing. There is nothing in Ravnica that anyone really needs.
Absolutely
terms of-
nothing.
But if you want to like get stuff out there, print like Mirrodin or something. Ravnica, like Modern
Masks.
Masters, yeah, Modern Masters was just Ravnica.
Yeah.
Like there was like they offered like Scars Block would have been another great one. That is Karn and a bunch of swords and Batterskull and stuff that lots of modern decks could use or could need. And then they were like, "Do you want to play Ravnica?" And people were like, "Oh, I enjoyed that when it was a completely different game and damage stacked and everything was different." So they voted for it, and I wasn't happy, but.
Yeah, that's partially the players' fault though, because they did like put out a poll saying, "Hey, what do you want to draft?" And everyone said Ravnica.
I blame the players for that. I blame Wizards for even letting them choose, because they clearly want something to be. They would like people to play Modern, so why aren't they just using the retro drafts to push that? Or they're printing all these legacy promos, yet we're never getting any other legacy sets to draft, so we could actually use those cards. Like they reprint Force of Will, but now City of Traders is like 80 tickets. So what's the point?
Can I finish the financial thing about
Yes.
this? Because when I think it was when version 3 was launched, version 2 just didn't work at all. This was a couple of years back, and Magic Online pretty much crashed all the time, so it was unplayable. I wasn't playing at the time. Were any of you playing?
No.
I was not.
Okay, but at that time, the market actually crashed too, and I don't know how long it lasted. So what I'm going to do is to look into that and see how when the bottom could be expected to be in a major price crash.
Yeah, I'm looking at this and I'm wondering how much lower, because I was trying to dabble into standard myself with I've been on a pretty good recent Pauper winning streak here, and so I'm trying to dabble into standard here. I'm thinking, man, I just want to play Thoughtseize. The card is so good. And I'm looking at it's like 5.7 tickets. I'm like, man, I want to buy this right now.
The natural low point of the fall set is the 15th of December. Now I think it will be an even deeper low point. But my normal advice would be to buy Thoughtseize on the 15th.
Yeah.
I think, based on their language, Magic Online has never done anything before schedule. Like,
True.
Whenever they say something, it is always is almost never on time, and it's almost always later than when they say.
You mean like leagues coming back in 2011?
Or the Power 9 coming to Moto in 2013. everything they've ever says. And they've basically all but confirmed with their vagueness that we are not getting dailies or anything back by the end of this year.
Wow.
So there is at least no reason to start rebuying until January 1st. Unless you have a lot of faith in the Magic Online team, which I do not.
Well, my question, and this is something I was talking to Dan about earlier, is the impact of these other events that they're giving us. I mean, I know everyone's like, sell now, but I assume people are going to be jonesing for their standard fix, and they're going to take what they can get. And maybe they don't have daily events, but people are going to play whatever these new queues are.
I've thought about that a bit, and I think the idea of dailies is that you're doing one of two things if you play dailies. You're practicing for paper tournaments, or you're practicing for online PTQs and moxes. Standard isn't really a format people play because they enjoy it. I mean, sometimes people enjoy it, but it doesn't have sort of the following that something like Pauper or Legacy would have.
Isn't it the most common format in the practice rooms and in the Just for Fun room as well?
Right, and that's by virtue of Standard being the de facto format for major tournaments.
Yeah, I see what you're saying here.
People aren't interested in putting money into a Standard deck to play 8-mans, which on that point is bizarre. They talk about adding 5-3-2-2 queues. Isn't that the exact same thing they've had in the constructed room?
Yes.
Like, it's the same exact thing?
Yes.
So I don't even understand what they're saying it's new, like, which they could do to like at least pretend it's not a complete disaster, but it's not even different. They could have like upped the price increase or like increased the price for no reason, so it would at least be different. But I don't understand.
One thing that we need to be clear on is that. Do you hear me properly?
Yes.
Okay. Everything sounded weird. One thing we have to be clear about is that the 8-mans, even though we have wanted them for Pauper a long time, is a lot worse expected value than daily events. I was talking to David about this before we started, and these figures are not perhaps exact, but they are very close. You have to be a 46% match winner to be earning money in the daily events. If you win 46% of matches, somewhere around there, you earn money playing the daily events. And for the 8-man queues, it's 56%. So that's a huge difference. It might not sound a lot, but it's...
Right, you have to win
enormous.
1 out of 10 more matches than you would otherwise.
Yeah, and that's a huge difference in the long run.
And I'm sure it is, but I mean, I am actually looking at these changes, and they're kind of good for me. I'm actually kind of happy about them, because I feel I can hit that 56% win percentage, so I can stay not having to pay for this game. And I can do it whenever I want to. Whereas with daily events, in the spring I was doing them all the time because I had a bunch of free time. But now it's like I can get in 1 or 2 a week because of scheduling issues. And now...
Sorry, were you...
I was just going to say, so I'm actually looking at this... with open arms. I'm happy.
That sounds sort of narrow in terms of excitement. It's like your house burns down, and it's like at least my dog's okay. Because what you're excited about is something they could have just. It's something they could have just done regardless of whether everything else broke or not.
That's true.
It's not. Now that everything is gone, we can finally do this.
How often do 8-mans fire for like modern? Anybody know?
Constantly.
For modern,
so the Pauper 8-mans will fire all the time.
Oh yes,
8-mans fire relative to how popular the format itself is. You don't have like legacy 8-mans firing because
no, but
people
Pauper
want to
is
play them.
very popular. So
Pauper, sure, but I think that's a matter of they should have just had those in the first place. I don't really understand why they didn't. If they can have them now.
Yeah, reading the updates article, they had said that because they removed like the Heroes Path standard and legacy and like 100 card singleton type formats or whatever, it's like now all of a sudden you have room to put Pauper 8-mans in and Momir 8-mans.
I think that's just them lying. I think last time I was on, I talked about how their justification for getting rid of 4 boosters sealed was that Moto couldn't handle 30 card decks.
Yeah.
Which is Moto can't handle decks containing any number of cards. So they seem to be making up just random justifications for everything, when most of the reasons for what they do is we are bad at our jobs.
Yeah, and I don't understand why. And I tweeted this a lot of times, is asking Turian and Worth for Pauper 8-mans, and I'll get like a lot of retweets off of that, and I'm like, so why don't we have Pauper 8-mans yet? What the heck, people obviously want it. It's gonna fire. Every 6 tickets that gets put into Pauper 8-man goes in you guys' pocket, and this is the second most popular format. But we have Legacy 8-mans and not Pauper. What the heck is going on here, guys?
I hope they stay when they fix things.
Something I'm thinking about too, or I've thought about, is what the kind of who are these people? Like, we know the name Mike Turian, we know Worth Wolpert. Yeah, just vomit out his name. It's what I don't think they're like operating on the same level. And Worth, I think, is like he doesn't really know what to do. He's like in over his head. So I blame him for not maybe realizing that. But Mike Turian, like every announcement he makes, like it's like really passive aggressive and like blaming the players for not liking everything. He uses a lot of language like, "We're very sorry, players disagree with our decision to crash the PTQ this weekend. Hopefully you come to accept our changes in the future." So obviously not that, but there was something I think with it was like Avacyn Restored. Unfortunately, players didn't respond in the way we'd hoped. Like, yeah, because it was terrible. Like accept responsibility, and I've never seen him ever do that. So it feels very. It feels like if Stephen Colbert, like the character, ran a company, just like no accountability and complete arrogance. And how dare you assume anything we do is not correct?
Yeah, I guess so.
So what are you going to be doing now, CJ? Like, are you continuing to play? I know you're, as I recall, I think you're in the top 100 for the Player of the Year stuff.
I mean, that's not happening. I have no faith in them following through with that.
But how are you going to be playing on Moto? Are you going to keep doing 8-mans? Are you just done? I saw you retweet someone who was like, "I'm out of here. I'm quitting."
I don't see a reason to play. I like events that have things on the line. I like to feel like the thing I'm playing for is worth my time. Even daily events like sort of barely cross that threshold of this is I'm willing to spend 3 hours to do this. I don't feel like playing 5-3-2-2s in otherwise irrelevant formats. Like I'm not preparing for paper tournaments. So even that aspect is useless for me. It's become cockatrice, except it doesn't work as well. I tried cockatrice again a month ago and it was unusable. So
yeah,
I'll find something else to do. I'll find a distraction, but I'm sitting on like 2,000 tickets. I would like to use them at some point, but I can't now. So might as well just wait.
I'll say if you don't want them, I'll take them.
Yeah, throw them like a shredder bot.
Yeah,
it was like Germany in like 1932, just like burning tickets to start fires to keep warm.
Yeah.
We'd go to like Cardbot. How much is that? Sphinx's Revelation, 400,000 tickets. Oh.
I'll have 4.
Need a playset for this 5-3-2-2.
So I love this too. Is the 5-3-2-2s are like they make an announcement specifically citing 5-3-2-2s, and in the same announcement they say that the limited queues are still 4-3-2-2s.
Well,
that's a scandal.
You get to open packs that you pay to enter with. That's where the makeup. The thing that really drives me insane is that the crashes, like the PTQ crash, was the servers just went down. It wasn't a programming thing. It was just their servers are terrible and kicked everybody. Or the mocks did that, the standard mocks. The PTQ is sealed, and we've known what causes the crashes in the sealed for like a month. It's Ashiok or Psychic Intrusion. So they didn't fix those, which is already insane. But then they're keeping up the Theros drafts, which have the cards that cause the crashes in the first place, and they got rid of the other formats. So you can still just crash everything. It's so bizarre and confusing in terms
How do
of
those cards crash stuff?
the way they both. There's a thing where so you gain control of their cards basically, and there are cards in the set that say target opponent, but it registers the card as still theirs even if you're casting it. So if you like steal a time defeat and you just can't cast it, and it'll crash Moto. Or Sea God's Revenge is another one.
Huh.
Ashiok is slightly different, but it's still the same sort of interaction Moto can't handle. Like there are players who know what you have to do to crash the event. My friend told me a story about a guy he knows who built an Ashiok Psychic Intrusion deck, and it would just crash block 2-mans to make people angry. Because he knew exactly how to do it. And they still have these cards, and they got rid of the other sets that don't have these cards. So did they just not know what's going on, or are they hoping no one knows?
So you think that's why which tournament? Like the Mox? I don't know what the Mox was.
Whichever the sealed one was. I think the PTQ was sealed. That's what the PTQ has crashed like the past 4 times, and it's always those cards. And each consecutive time, more people will know. So you'll probably get is like some guy is like 4-3. He's like, whatever, I'm out of here, and he like screws with Ashiok and crashes the PTQ. Or some guy stays in at like 1-7, just because he knows he can get reimbursed.
I'm glad you know. I'm glad you mentioned this. I had no idea about this.
I can't wait to bring the system down.
I mean, I'm not encouraging, Crash Moto, because at this point, why bother? But it's the fact that players know what's the problem. They must, and they're not. Like, why didn't they just remove those cards from the card pool? Like, it would be weird to say, but I think it would be better than what we got now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd rather my chances of opening Ashiok decrease rapidly than my chances of playing in a daily event go to 0.
At least now, Ashiok's price will go to 0. It's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah.
There you go. That's pretty sweet. And they're pretty notorious about just not fixing bugs. So
in our Pauper
Like
community,
KRX Torch?
yeah, KRX Torch. I specifically I played Tron in a Pauper daily, and I was specifically playing KRX Torch as like sort of a backup plan. It's like, well, if I'm 2-2, if I KRX Torch something and they counterspell it, I get reimbursed for the full event. Pretty sweet.
Yeah, I make sure to blow up every obulate I see if I'm in a losing game.
I heard some guy was playing like a Dreamstalker Oubliette deck just to like force them to fix it. But what I'm sure happened is they suspended him.
No,
instead.
he was still playing the last daily event I saw. It was mother-in-law.
When was this? Did they?
The last pop, I think it was last night's Pauper. I saw him in the event.
If they weren't crashing Moto, they would probably just like silence him. Stop it. Stop.
The deck only has one Dreamstalker, so
yeah,
I
that's what it's for, though. I'm sure.
Yes.
just
You just sandbag it until you're like, I need to crash this event.
Yeah.
And you pull the trigger. It's sort of did any of you guys ever play that video game Pandemic 2? Where you play as like...
No.
Well, it's a video game where you play as a virus and you have to conquer the world. And Madagascar will close its borders whenever like a dude in Brazil coughs, and Madagascar will just shut it down. And that's what I thought of is happening with Moto. That like a PTQ and a Mox crashed. We cannot handle this. We're going to shut down everything on Moto and just barricade ourselves in to the limited queues room and play 8-mans for months until it's safe to come out.
Yeah, I wonder if anything will change, or if they're just going to make us like, because we're all addicts, just like jonesing so hard for anything that they'll just give us back what we had before, and we'll all be like, we'll stay quiet. We'll never say anything else again.
They give daily events back, so now they pay out 10.5 for no reason.
Yeah, just
they don't even acknowledge the price decrease. It's like, what?
That will be the most infuriating things if that happens, because I know it's happened before, right? Where they took down a system, they took down a daily event system, and all of a sudden the 2/2s stopped paying in 2 packs, or something like that, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised. I feel like this is just deployed to reduce the positive EV.
Yeah.
I've started to legitimately wonder if Moto is a springtime for Hitler. Which
what did you mean by that exactly?
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
You know the movie The Producers, or have you heard of it?
I know it.
The plot of The Producers is they need to like get a tax write-off or like scam a bunch of people of money, so they write the worst play in the entire world and they call it Springtime for Hitler, and it's like a musical romantic comedy with Hitler in it. And they were like, "There's no way this will make money. We can have a tax write-off and be back on this, be back on top." And people love Springtime for Hitler. It's like a huge hit. And they go to prison for tax fraud. And I almost wonder if at this point they're trying to like ruin Moto for some reason we don't really know. Like they need to claim a loss, and they're like trying to slowly drive a stake through its heart. But we're just so dedicated. We can't let it die.
Have you ever seen any other computer game that works this poorly?
Not only works this poorly, but works increasingly poorly as time progresses.
Yeah, 10-year-old program showed.
Moto is the Benjamin Button of online video games.
Yeah, bring back Leaping Lizards and we'll have a really good program.
Yeah.
It's not even an exaggeration. Like, it has gotten worse. It's not like I don't like what's happening. Like, if you look
actually, when the beta went live back in 2002, the program worked great.
Yeah, and then there's a story with Leaping Lizard that they fired all of them and then tried to rehire them in-house, and they were like, no. And now all those guys work at Valve doing real things. So they were like, oh no, what do we do with this code? And it's like, so they had the code, but they didn't have anyone with talent. So they like scoured the Pro Tour. Like, do you know how to code things? Not really. All right, you're hired. Please fix this. And that's what the past 10 years have been, because, I mean, it's speculation, but I can assume, like, other companies will have probably offered, like, we can make this not terrible. And out of nothing more than pride, they've said, no, we can do this, and they cannot.
But there is some external company involved right now, right? Since, like, a month back.
There has to be.
I think they announced that they had brought in external consultants.
They need to. I mean, I don't understand how Hasbro lets them do this.
I think, I don't know how much I can relay. I have a friend who sort of knows more about this than most people do. But it's a matter of, basically, Magic Online is like a walking joke in the, like, gaming, sort of game developing community, like in the area of, like, Hearthstone and that stuff. It's not just us who make fun of it. It is an embarrassment to everyone involved that this is a product that is being sold successfully to people who are alive.
I said there's a lot of if you get on the inside thing of like gaming and whatever, you get people will make fun of this game or that game, but usually those are people who are really in depth as far as like programming and whatever goes. But no, the people who play Magic Online make fun of how awful it is, and that's saying a lot. It's like, I don't know anything about coding. I can barely operate a computer successfully.
Even design decisions make no sense. Like on the bottom bar where it's like collection deck editor.
Yeah.
There's a button for home. But if you click like the menu tabs that bring up the new tabs, there's a way to get to the home tab that's different from the one just on the screen in general. It's like, why is that there? When would the home button's broken and I need the other one? Why would that happen?
The other thing is, why do you ever want to go to the home page? Like, it does nothing. All it does is tabs to go to other places.
Why does the
tabs are on
schedule?
the bottom.
Why can't I get to the scheduled events room by going to the homepage? Why would they think I would rather go to the classified section at any given time than the daily events room?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think there are 2,000 people in classifieds at any given time. If it's a numbers thing, it's weird. I don't understand anything about this program in terms of.
There are more people. I'm pretty sure there's more bots online at any given time than people. So that makes sense to me because
bots aren't browsing the classifieds, though. I don't think, are they?
I don't know.
They are in the classified section to post their ads.
Yeah, but I always picture them like the merchant in Resident Evil. Like, they're just sort of waiting there. I didn't think bots would actively look out other bots. Or bots would need the menu to shortcut to the classified section. I don't know. The fact that we even have to wonder this is bizarre and confusing and stupid.
Yeah, and it's like, why don't we have an auction house? Every other game has an auction house.
There is an auction house, but there's no way to get to it from... You need to, input something.
Join auction. There's a way to do it. It's all human ran. It's like...
Is that still running?
I don't know. Because if not, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. The market's so liquid and little need for auctions.
Okay, I mean, why is there no way for players to sell their cards effectively?
They can't acknowledge the secondary value of cards officially.
Wouldn't the classified section do that? I mean...
No, but that's just to enable people to trade with each other. So they can get away with that. But they can't, state that your collection has any dollar value.
That seems more precautionary than...
I think it is quite... I
don't
it's the same line they take in paper, right?
Sort of. I mean, they give you money if you win a paper tournament. They're allowed to do that.
Buy your cards. Or sell you individual cards.
Right, but they don't prohibit card stores from doing that. Wouldn't that be the philosophy?
That's not their legal problem. So, but I think they explained this several times, and it's a very clear line they have. That's why there is no auction house.
Except unless you put a secret,
fantastic.
Unless you put in a secret code.
Yeah, but that's not the real auction, as it can't handle, for example, fractional credits or fractional tickets.
Yeah,
maybe
why don't we have fractional tickets? Oh, it's so frustrating.
Yeah, maybe because tickets are not money.
Maybe you need a secret code for the auction house. You go to the Hall of Champions and you type in something, and a new tab opens.
Imagine if we had World of Warcraft's auction house for cards. That would be fantastic.
Yeah. Anyway, we're going on a slight tangent here.
Yeah, this episode's awesome.
Yeah.
We don't have daily events anymore, so we need something to do.
How will the Pauper meta be impacted by Moto not existing?
That is a great question.
What cards will see an increase in play?
I'm curious to see how that works too, because I know with two-mans and stuff, that was when I would expect to see back when you could play Infect, and I was running two-mans all the time. I would play Infect at such a higher percentage in two-man queues relative to dailies, because it was, just a surprise deck, and no one was expecting it. But in dailies, you're going to have 4 rounds, and someone's going to have some sort of anti-infect tech against you. But I don't know, I just felt like the metas in the two were way different. And now if we don't have published daily event results that I use those, I look at them every day. It's like my newspaper. And I'm going to have no grip on what the meta is. I think it's going to radically change things. I think there's going to be a lot of really weird decks that you run into in these 8-mans. I think Delver decreases.
Oh, BS. I'm just going to play the crap out of Delver.
Yeah, I think Delver increases because Delver beats Rogue.
Yes.
I think it decreases because people are going to forget about it. They're not going to see it all the time and be like, "Oh, Delver." I think the same.
Now you're talking about the fall of 2016 when we still don't have daily events.
Yeah, that could be. I don't know. It's just there's a lot of weird stuff that could happen, and I think that's actually a really good question. What will happen in it? I just think you're going to see a lot of weird stuff going on.
I
So
think
smart people play Delver, but there's a lot of stupid people
I
out.
said, what have you been playing recently, David?
I've been playing more Kitty and more one land combo, but Kitty and dailies, and I'm still doing fine. I had a sick game the other day where I kept a 4. I mulled to 4, as it seems to happen to me every tournament. Mulled to 4, no lands, and I won.
Ooh, nice.
My opponent had luck at the end. It was a bit awkward, but it was a burn, and so burns that just illustrates how good of a match burn is for that deck. So
Yeah, I played a Kitty in a daily on Friday or Saturday. I don't remember which. I went 2-2 with it. I lost to Affinity twice. Still haven't figured out how to beat Affinity with that deck. So I changed the sideboard, took out your Curse of the Bloody Tombs, and put in 3 Dust to Dusts. Hopefully that'll do something. So I found they got ahead of me on resources too fast, so I couldn't do anything. So I figured Dust to Dust, maybe I can blow up 2 of their lands or blow up 2 of their Mirror Forces. I could probably win.
yeah, curses aren't my choice. I stole them from someone else who did them, so I'm still testing them. And I think your critiques on them are actually really spot on. So there are times when I'm like, man, if this was just another guy, I would have already won.
Yeah, and I think Curse of the Blade Team really only belongs in one deck, and that's either Delver or Mono Blue Control, and that's just to beat the mirror. But even then, it's not necessarily the greatest in those mirror-type matchups, because if it's a Curse of the Bloody Tomb instead of a blocker, then your Delver or Mono Blue Control player can just fly over you and kill you, if they can remove your Spire Golems. So, yeah, I played AzoriusKitty, and then I played Delver, and I went 4-0 with Delver. That was really sweet. And then they chose not to publish the results for that day.
Bummer, because you won that tournament, right?
Yes, I was the winner of that tournament.
Winner.
It's the first time I've ever done that for a daily event, so I was like, sweet! I would have been number 1 at the top, and they didn't publish results. I'm like, you assholes.
But you did record it, right? So post a link to it in the show notes.
I did not record
No, okay.
I did not
Oh,
record
so
it
it didn't happen, you're
Damn
saying.
it.
Yeah, so it didn't happen. But it happened. It totally happened. Screw you guys. It definitely happened.
We believe you.
I did record a Tron daily, though. And Tron is a lot stronger than I thought.
My first round opponent last night was a Tron deck with Snaps and 3 Rolling Thunders. Once the first 2 were gone, I was like, oh, I got this in the bag. And then, he snaps into the 3rd, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? So that might be the new thing.
Wow.
Cloud of Fairy Snap stuff. Moving back into that.
I think Snap is wrong, personally, but...
The guy's good. It's the Stain 42 or whatever. Whatever. He plays a lot.
I think he had a Singleton Snap, if I recall, looking at his list. So he got sort of lucky there.
That's the 5th Cloud of Fairy then.
I don't think he was running Cloud of Fairies.
No clouds that I saw.
Yeah.
Just 1 random snap.
Yes, he has one.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure he had 1 random snap in his deck. Last time I saw his deck list, anyway.
Cute.
That's what happened. But I'm running a version of Tron that just has more threats. I'm running 2 Maul Splicers, 2 Ulamog's Crushers, the full 4 Fangren Marauders in the main deck, and a Torch and a Rolling Thunder. So I have a lot of stuff, and I ran over a Mono Blue Control player because he couldn't counter all my threats, basically.
Yeah, my understanding is that matchup's terrible for Mono Blue Control because you just get so far ahead on mana. I mean, it's probably just like Fissure Post. You just get so ahead on mana they actually can't counter everything you're going to do in that turn. And then once that happens, you just blow past them.
Yeah, and if they don't have if they're relying on their card draw engines like Think Twice and Accumulated Knowledge to be able to out card you, then that doesn't really work if you run them out of counterspells and then they're just left with a couple Think Twices in their hand. And then you keep on jamming out threats, which is what I did. I kept on jamming out threats every turn, and he eventually ran out of counterspells, and I landed a few Marauders and gained 30 life, and he couldn't win anymore. So that's what I've been doing.
What are you playing, CJ? I know Elves is no longer
Yeah, it's not.
successful.
I think last time we talked about how much mono block there has to be to not play elves, and it hit that threshold. That's for sure. I don't really like any decks right now. I guess it sounds kind of cynical, but I don't know. It feels like you have to play creatures even before you could play. A Fissure Post at least was like a spell-based deck, but now every deck is like creatures and things that kill creatures. It feels like standard in that way, except there aren't planeswalkers or anything like that. So it's just Kiln Fiends and Crypt Rats and Delvers all fighting each other. And I don't know.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I feel like Pauper's like kind of more boring for me now than it has ever been before. Like, I really enjoy when my opponent sacrifices his lands, draws a billion cards, and grape shots me for 40. Like, that's a cool way to lose. It feels sweet. Or like, and I don't mind having all my permanents returned to my hand because it's like, oh man, that's so awesome. But now it's like,
there's that, and the lead up to that moment is more tense because you need to I need to make sure he can't do this. Can I do it? But now with just creatures, it's like, did I draw a lightning bolt? Or I'm taking 2 a turn and draw something? Nope, go ahead. Oh, two more, go ahead. And the games just drag on forever unless you turn 3 someone with a Kiln Fiend.
I hate losing like that. I'm sorry, guys. 100%. I'm totally 100% different from you guys.
I mean, all the time it's annoying, but I'd rather at least die some of the time like that than Crypt Rats attack. Okay. Oh, I drew a land. Go. I would rather. I don't want to watch paint dry before I'm killed. Just get it over with.
Yeah, the worst are the counter decks. You're like, okay, I'll play a spell, and then you're like, okay, all right, next turn I'll play 2 spells, and they're like, counter both. You're like, oh god, and you just sit there and they're chipping away at you with a 2/4 or something.
No, it's just a cloud of fairies, 1 point at a time.
Yeah, that's actually kind of what happened to me last night. I was just like, I can't play. I'm literally can't cast anything. You're just
what happens a lot for me is I start just doing other things because it's so boring. I'll what's on Netflix? And I'll just all right. Oh, I took 1 damage again. It's grumble.
Then I have to step up and defend the Pauper metagame right now because we are now 2 months deep after the bannings, and this was the point where the metagame broke down last time. But there is no Simic Storm post to take over. The metagame is still relatively healthy. And we see huge swings from week to week. So we're still in this infancy stage where things are changing. For my own part, I played 2 dailies with Trinket and went 3-1 and 0-2. And Trinket was at number 5 in the meta, but is now off. And I think it's because of Perilous Affinity. The changes to the Affinity deck. The Affinity matchup has changed until, and it's now a bad matchup for Trinket. And also Tron's Rise is of course bad.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to play. I don't have enough practice with the deck to play it in a daily, and now there are no dailies, but I'm not sure what to play. So I would like to ask you guys and ask the listeners where I should focus my my attention.
I like Tron. I think Tron's probably your style, Dan.
I liked Simic Storm Post, so I think I would like Tron as well, but I have played 3 matches with the deck. So I need to put in a lot of practice. Do you have a sideboard plan?
No. I've asked for one from the place where I ran my Tron deck was off of a guy who posted his deck list on MTG Salvation.
Yep.
And his deck looked really sweet. I was like, all right, sweet, more threats. That's what I like. And I asked him for his sideboard plan. I don't have it. He hasn't responded to me yet. I think it's
right. Link to that thread in the show notes.
Yeah, sure, we'll do. But I think most of it's kind of intuitive. Tron doesn't really. Tron's kind of like Delver, right? It doesn't have any really weak matchups. Not that I've found yet. There's nobody who just runs over you.
But how do you handle Stomp?
How do you
You
handle
don't, because no one plays it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Burn, like he usually just die,
Yeah, pretty much.
burn, like you should just die, shouldn't you?
No, not against. Against Burn, you're basically racing to get Fangren Marauders online on the first turn or on the first game.
Yeah.
So you probably lose the first game. Chances are, unless you get an early Tron and Fangren Marauder up.
Yeah.
But game 2, you bring in. Well, I mean, this guy's running Coalition Honor Guards, which are the 2/4 standard bearers.
Yeah.
Oh, that's clever.
Yeah, that's an anti-burn tech, and it's really sweet. I played against Burn with it in the PRE last night. I ran the PRE last night with Tron, and I played against Burn. I landed a Coalition Honor Guard. He had to use 2 lightning bolts to kill it. So that saved me that game. And then Circle of Protection Red obviously just shuts down Burn. And since you're Tron, you have like 1,000,000 mana up all the time, so they actually just can't be a Circle of Protection Red ever.
The only way they can do it is with Flaring Pain.
Yeah, but if they're casting Flaring Pain, then I usually have time to get one of my 4 Marauders online. And if I get a Marauder online against Burn, it's just game over. Yeah.
What do you sideboard out then? If you're so reliant on Marauders, maybe you can't do the old Simic Stormpost trick of just sideboarding out swears all the time.
You sideboard out. Hold on, let me see here.
You can sideboard out anything else. Like against, it wouldn't actually matter in that deck. All you'd have to do is survive. You know,
you sideboard out like Firebolts, Torches, Thunders.
I meant generally against like everything, because it's not hard to figure out what to bring in, but what to take out is harder.
Yeah, that's sort of my problem too. Is I don't really know exactly what to take out. It's usually some number of Crushers, Splicers, Torches, or Thunders, depending on the matchup. And like Seagate Oracle is usually my go-to guy to sideboard out. He's one of my other go-to guys to sideboard out. You don't want to sideboard out the eggs though. You never sideboard out the eggs.
Which is very different from Simic Stormpost.
Yeah, you have to have the fixing. Your three colors in a 12 colorless land deck. So you always have to have the eggs.
Yep.
I like playing against Tron. That's actually probably the one matchup I am enjoying lately, because it's interesting to see how they handle me spreading seizing them and blowing up their lands.
AzoriusKitty must be a very hard matchup for Tron.
Yeah, I think I haven't played it yet, but it seems like a rough matchup.
Yeah,
someone playing main deck land destruction.
Yeah, and a lot of it too. Like the first time I played against Tron, I never let them get off 5 mana, like ever. I just kept blowing it up with reality acids, and spreading seas can just like crush them. And they give you like kind of the best part about it. The most fun is I want to like bounce my spreading seas all the time. That's sort of what I do, but I get additional value in that. So I'll like they'll have Tron, I'll spreading seas Urza's Tower, and then they'll like find another Urza's Tower, put it into play, and then I just bounce the spreading seas, put it on the mine. So now they have to go and get a mine.
Wow.
So it's like, I don't know, it's difficult for them. But the games are still really fun. So at least for me, they might not be for them.
Yeah, because you don't actually necessarily need the Tron to win. Like the Tron is just helps you win faster, basically. But if you don't have the Tron, then it's just a big deck, right? It's a big ramp deck, essentially. And you still have your big stuff that you can cast, your Crushers and your big Rolling Thunders. So the Tron just makes it where you can get those things faster, which of course is the whole point of playing the deck. I guess that's the other big thing is you don't really sideboard out the reasons that you're playing the deck. So I always like to keep in 2 Ulamog's Crushers unless it's very obviously bad in a matchup like against Burn.
How do you handle like a Nivik Cyclops?
Circle of Protection Red.
Right.
I mean, a Vignon's article was basically, which maybe we should link in the show notes. He basically said the reason why you want to play this deck is because it beats mid-range strategies and control strategies, but auto loses to aggressive strategies. And I'm not surprised by that. It's just really bad against them. I don't know, but no one plays them, so it's a great meta call.
Yeah. say Circumspection Red beats the Cyclops decks, unless they're running Flaring Pain, in which case, sucks for you. Hopefully you can Flame Slash or Firebolt their fiends before they can combo off on you. If they have Flaring Pain.
Right.
Yeah. So
one other thing I wanted to mention too. You touched on it. The play run events. I think this is the opportunity for the play run events. With the daily events gone, then play run events should spike. They will also have published metagames. So if Gatherling can handle it and PDC Magic, then play run events should have a blossoming time right now.
Yeah, and Justin actually ran a great 8-man event over the weekend. I know Chris did one
cool.
too.
Yes.
And so other people might be getting into it, like MTGO Academy. I had a blast at it. It was great. He's a great commentator.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got ran over by 4 Mirror Enforcers on turn 3 in that event. Yeah. So, shout out to Jason the Mind Sculptor for not Affinity drawing me 2 games in a row. I hate you.
We had a strong showing of 1-land combo in that 8-man that we did. Me and my friend Obson did one, and he got second, and I won the first round. He had in round 2, he had two turn 2 kills against his Tron opponent. That was probably his highlight, and for me, it was in my round 1. I played against Trinket, got him game 1. But I didn't ever get the land, so I just developed with no land available to me. I developed enough mana to Valley Straits by myself twice in order to dig enough through my library.
Oh God!
Game 2, he mulls to like 3 or 4. Goes like island, swamp, and that's like it. And just sits there. And so I go off, and he has negate. So we go to game 3. Because I just was like, I'm going to make him show me the duresses. I'm going to make him show me the counter magic before I bring in my duresses. So I bring in my duresses. Justin is saying, like, I wonder if he'll go ahead and do that mulligan strategy down to negate again. And the guy was, like, looking at his opener. As soon as Justin says that, he just chucks it, mulligans, and, like, digs down to 5. So I'm aware he's on this negate strategy. And I'm sitting waiting for a duress, but he doesn't get past 2 lands. So then I just go into beatdown mode and start like using my rituals to cast like Simian Spirit Guides and like Street Wraiths, and I beat him down. It was sweet. It's the first time the beatdown strategies actually worked.
That seems like an awful strategy with that deck.
Yeah, it was against a control deck too. It was pretty funny, but he never got off 2 lands because he mulliganed so aggressively.
Yeah, I guess that's the other part of the Tron list. It doesn't mulligan well, from what I've seen, because there's only 20 lands in the deck, right? So if you have to mulligan, you're likely mulling down to 1 or 2 lands in your hand, and the deck really can't operate off that. So I guess that's my fair warning to you, Dan. Is the deck really does not mulligan very well, from what I've seen and played with.
All right.
If you have to go down to 5, you pretty much just concede, I think. Because it's not like Cloud Post where you can draw yourself out of it. You can, but you have to get a very, very specific combination of cards to do that. Like, because the fixing for Tron is so much worse than it is for Cloud Post.
Yeah, and you can't like Glimmer Post yourself and survive the extra turns.
Yeah. So, anyway. I'm excited for Pauper 8-man, though. Thank God. Finally, bitch.
Yeah, the scheduling of an 8-man is a big advantage. That you can actually play whenever you want.
Yeah, I'm definitely be jamming in a bunch of Delver, I think. Because people are going to try these junk decks. After your Academy showcase and everything, David, that people are going to be trying to play this junk deck and everything.
Oh, by junk you mean the only combo deck in the format.
Yeah. So, going to try and counterspell this. That way, if I'm playing Tron, I don't feel awful whenever I get turn 2'd.
We've been getting it pretty consistent. Like, I've been pulling off turn 2s and 3s like pretty regularly. I feel confident. Yeah.
Yeah, and in the PRE I just played, I got turn 2'd by Infect twice. I'm like, I hate you. I have to play Delver now because you guys are assholes and playing these these junk decks, these junk non-interactive decks.
That's where I'm at, man. On interactivity.
Yeah, the last PRE I played, I lost to Burn because I was playing Mono Black Control. I'm like, I hate you so much right now. Stop this. Stop playing these non-interactive decks so I can actually play my interactive fun decks like Mono Black Control and Tron. But now I have to play Delver because you assholes are playing non-interactive decks. So I have to counterspell you now. So I'm going to play Delver until people stop playing shit decks. That's my policy.
Sounds sweet.
See, you still with us?
I'm still here.
We stopped bitching about Magic, so he stopped talking.
That's all I ever want to do at any given time.
It's like, oh, these guys are actually having a podcast about Pauper. I guess I better just shut up for a little while until I can bitch about Magic.
Mm-hmm. Is it my turn yet? Yep.
Okay, go ahead and bitch. Have fun.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I've said what I wanted to say. Basically, it's terrible, and I mean, this isn't. They've used Band-Aid fixes. It's time for surgery. There's some talking points for you.
Yeah.
If this actually comes out better than it was before, do you think will it make you happy, or is this just like already a wash?
I will die of shock.
Oh.
This is the Titanic, and I'm standing on the deck, just sobbing and shaking my head.
But the Titanic can spontaneously replace itself, or repair itself.
The band is playing like bad techno.
I can just see that now. 1920s bad techno. Nice.
That techno was really bad back in 1912.
The Titanic is modern in this metaphor. It was just highly improperly inspected. Leaping Lizard designed it, and then they fired it and hired a new crew.
Alright guys, I'll be right back. I need more coffee.
And Worth is the captain then.
Yes. He steered into the iceberg because he thought it was a good idea.
Maybe he needed ice for his drink.
Exactly.
And then he published 1/3 of an article about it and just hyperlinked you to the other information you need to survive the Titanic crash.
Yeah, there was this newsletter on the boats that said ice something. Check this link.
You get into the lifeboat and it just won't open. you spend 10 minutes trying to get in, but you're already dead.
And if you get into the lifeboat, you find you have no oars.
This is the best metaphor ever.
And as you're drowning, you get a message. We're very sorry. If you'd like to file compensation, please follow this link.
Oh yeah, I saw that. On
there will
Twitter.
be another boat next week.
Yeah, somebody made the Twitter handle like MTGO customer support or something like that.
Oh, that's me and one other person.
Oh,
I
that's awesome.
I didn't tweet that one, but I liked it. It's a Kill Goldfish on Twitter is the other guy. He's like a Seattle dude who is also very outspoken about how terrible Magic Online is. So,
Okay.
approved account.
So it was sweet. They just started responding to Worth about. We're sorry if you'd like to file compensation.
We're
the link.
sorry about the issue with Magic Online. Yeah.
That was sweet.
This whole experience has been interesting for me too. I learned a bunch of stuff. I didn't know #BlameKibler was a real hashtag prior to this, but apparently people have been blaming Kibler for things for years.
He was the one who played Squadron Hawk first. That's where it started, I think.
Oh God.
But I don't think anyone actually thinks it's really his fault. But he seems to be tweeting, like, defending their decision somehow. Like, all apologetic. Like, he thinks people think it's his fault. I don't really know. This is a really weird scenario. And I don't
think
know.
some people do think it's his fault. I mean, I feel like he published a whole like blog about it. It's the most published blog, or most viewed blog he's ever had, and he's hyped it up. And I think he kind of forced Wizards' hand on this. He
did, but it's not his fault. They went off the rails completely.
Oh, I agree.
You guys fixed Moto, all right? We'll shut everything down. Thank you for your suggestion. What the?
Yeah, that's what's really frustrating. Is like we've been complaining about this as a community for I don't know months, if not years, about how bad this is, and just because it happened to Kibler, all of a sudden they're fixing it. Like, wait, why is he more important than me?
It was probably just the last drop, the last straw. What do you say in English? It's the last straw.
Yeah, last straw, I guess. But
we had a lot of straws in Magic Online. It was like one of those
we did. Yes.
It was like one of those things in a diner where you like pull the thing up and like a bunch of them fall out. And we finally got to the last one. It only took 11 years, but we did it.
Yeah, and it's really frustrating from my perspective, right? I've put I don't know, probably $150 or so in MTGO. And I'm one of thousands, if not tens of thousands of people who have done this. And because it happened to the one dude who they care about, all of a sudden they're fixing all the issues that we've had for months. The crashes, this is not the first time
is being generous.
Yeah, the major crashes have been happening in the past few months, though, right? With the Moxes and stuff.
I guess.
I think over the past year, it's been 3 or 4 Moxes that have crashed in the middle. So
yeah, it's at the point where if you were playing Russian roulette, you would need there would be no amount of money to make it worth it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know that it's like.
That was a weird analogy.
Look at it like it's him that's. They're like, oh no, it happened to Brian Kibler. Now I got to fix everything. I think it's more like it happened to him, and then he sort of like mobilized action. Like this has happened to people before, and random people have been like, "Oh, this happened to me on Twitter," and they'll post it. But,
he's Spartacus, basically.
Yeah, like that's exactly what I think too. Like he's like kind of like Gandhi, where you're like, they've been oppressing people in India all the time, but until like someone stood up and got a bunch of stuff together in action and rallied the troops, they didn't care. So I don't think it's necessarily like it is Brian Kibler, and that's why we should care. It's like Brian Kibler used his position of power to start a rebellion.
Kibler is leading the charge in the fight against the tyranny and oppression of Magic the Gathering Online.
Yeah, exactly. He's more like a saint.
Do you think he'll martyr himself? Like he'll be banned from Magic the Gathering? And in 40 years, someone will make a movie about him and his noble sacrifice. Played by Daniel Day-Lewis.
I don't know if I'd watch that.
Sounds
I would make that movie. And Kibler's dog can talk and is like the sidekick. I guess Kibler got a dog and he really likes the dog. I don't know why that happened, but
it's like Shiro, right, or something.
Yeah. Yep.
Hey, in other news, I just learned that I'm going to be published on Pure. Yay!
Oh,
congrats!
Yeah.
What will you be writing?
I'm going to be doing a video series, basically, where I post the videos to your YouTube channel, Dan, all the time. And now I'm gonna continue to post videos to your channel, but now I'm gonna do a weekly Pure article. So basically, just highlighting those videos.
Oh, that's great.
Yep. And the editor for Pure just messaged me back saying that my article is gonna go up on Monday. That's when he tries to run Pauper content. Is Mondays.
Uh-huh.
So look for my new channel. It was going to be a daily event series, but now it's going to have to be an 8-man event series.
You could do drafts too.
I could do drafts.
They're 8-man, of course, as well.
I could do drafts, except I hate Theros. So
It's the worst.
I've been crushing M14 lately, actually.
Good. That's a format that's actually still kind of fun. Sometimes I go back and do that.
I played 2 Ticket Tuesdays yesterday and got 2 seconds, 1 top 4, and 1 immediate elimination.
yeah, those are actually worse value than I thought because you have to win 2 rounds before you can get paid out.
Unless you have cube tickets, in which case they are awesome value.
Oh, I didn't even know that you could enter those with cube tickets.
Enter them for 4 cube tickets, which is a lot less than 2 event tickets.
That's a lot of value. That's pretty awesome.
So I ended up with 10 packs out of that. And it cost me nothing.
That's pretty sweet. I didn't have that many cube tickets, though, or phantom tickets, I guess is what they're called now.
They handed them out for free a year ago, I think. If you logged into the wide beta on a weekend, so I had just this pile of cube tickets.
Oh yeah, I missed that. I was so frustrated too because I didn't learn about it until after the weekend was already over.
Oh.
I was like, "Oh man, that's such crap." So now I have 2 phantom tickets, and I've been sitting on those forever because I don't want to pay 6 tickets to enter a phantom event to get more phantom tickets.
Is there a difference between the cube tickets and the phantom tickets now? They are the same, right?
Yeah, they're the same. They just converted everything to phantom tickets.
Yes.
But the only way you can get phantom tickets is by entering the phantom queues, which require 6 event tickets.
Oh.
And I'm like, no, I don't think so. I don't think I want to do that. I think I'll just sit on these for a while.
I don't understand. You don't want to give real tickets to get fake tickets?
Yeah.
This sounds like a great deal.
Yeah.
Seems fine to me.
Yeah.
It's all
maybe you
digital
should-
fake anyway. So.
And maybe you should play Magic for fun instead of just for money. How about that? I've heard that argument from real people before. And
Say, you sound like you're trying to be not bitter. What the hell? This is not why I have you on the podcast. I have you on the podcast to be a bitter asshole about this stuff.
I'm curmudgeonly, but that instance was irony and mocking the people who say things like that. Magic is for fun.
Leveling up the irony.
Yeah.
Magic is for fun. Why wouldn't you just shred all your tickets?
Shred all your tickets, only play in the practice room. Because Magic's fun. That's what it's supposed to be.
Yep.
Awkward silence.
I gotta roll out, guys. I'm getting like bombarded with working now.
I think we're reaching the end of this, unless we can get CJ started on something else. Like, what do you think of the new client?
Which one? There's a new one?
The beta.
Oh. It's unusable.
All right. Have a good one, David.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you next week.
Thanks.
You did.
Yeah, I think we're going to go ahead and close this out before we overstay our welcome here. So,
all right.
CJ, how can we contact you?
I'm on Twitter at REVO_. Or you can message me on Moto, and I'll see it in like 3 months probably.
Come back.
But
So
just use Twitter.
yeah, on Moto you are CJ Lack92, if I recall correctly.
That is correct.
Awesome. Dan, how about you?
You can reach me on Twitter at MagicGathStrat and on YouTube as Magic Gathering Strat.
All right. And I'm Chris. You can contact me on MTGO at cweaver. I also tweet at cweaver8518. This has been Competitive Paupercast episode 13. I'm going to go ahead and call this one CJ's Bitterness. And
You need to reference something. It needs to really have that sort of like if it was like an Oscar bait movie, like to win awards, what would it be called? Like the sweet taste of bitterness. Or something. The Magic Online story.
All right.
Magic Online played
That's a
by
great
Daniel
title.
Day-Lewis.
That is an epic title. So what is that? What was that again? That's the sweet
I
taste
don't-
of bitterness, the Magic Online story.
Yeah,
Oh.
based on the novel Magic Online.
All right.
Just you
Starring
need-
Daniel Day-Lewis as Worth Wolpert.
No, Daniel Day-Lewis plays Magic Online. He goes real deep for that one.
He plays.
Oh my
He
God.
plays.
He plays,
He plays the program itself.
All right. So who's Worth Wolpert and Mike Turian?
Worth Wolpert is Johnny Knoxville, and Mike
sense.
Turian is he's like a CGI goat from like a Shrek movie,
All right.
and he's voiced by Ryan Gosling.
Oh no, no, I can't have Ryan Gosling in my movie. I'm sorry.
All right, he's voiced by Gilbert Godfried. Is that better?
Excellent. Yes. Perfect.
All right.
I wish I could write all this stuff down, but I need to stop my recording. And thank you for coming today, CJ. It was awesome. Always great to have you on.
Always fun.
Great having you.
Anytime,
All right.
anytime we feel better about something, I'll be sure to contact you and let you.
It'll be a
come on.
recurring segment.
Yes.
So it was fun. I guess I'll chat later.
All right.